is called The Riddle of the Sands by Erskine Childers and was published in 1903. And there is Erskine Childers in a funny hat. If you join a military service or a religious sect, they usually make you wear a silly hat. And Erskine Childers was an Englishman who fought in the Boer War in South Africa, and that's why he's got a funny hat on. And he wrote The Riddle of the Sands. Now, the plot is very simple. Two young men on a boating holiday in the Frisian Islands off the coast of Germany come across an armada of German battleships preparing to invade England. And these two young men have to get home with the information, and needless to say, the Germans are trying to kill them before they can get home with the information. Now, that immediately strikes me as a terrific idea for a novel. But what do we mean by a good idea for a novel? Authors are frequently approached by members of the public who have ideas for novels which they want to give us, or they might want to sell us, or they want us to collaborate in writing. When a non-professional comes up with an idea for a novel, it's often an idea that you can see how it could generate 10 or 20 pages of excitement. And the key, my definition of a good idea for a novel is an idea that will generate about 50 dramatic scenes. Most novels consist of round about 50 dramatic scenes, not just thrillers. Pride and Prejudice consists of 61 dramatic scenes. I know because I counted while preparing this lecture. And that's true. And the novels that are exceptions to that are unusual experimental novels such as Ulysses or À la recherche de temps perdu, which are very unusual. Almost all novels consist of something like that number, something like 50 dramatic scenes. Now you can see with this idea of The Riddle of the Sands, you can immediately see how that can generate a large number of exciting scenes. There are these two young men. They come across this armada of ships. Perhaps they're afraid of being seen. They're not quite seen. They try to make their escape. They're pursued. They evade capture. Then they're captured. Then they're interrogated. And then they try and escape from their captors. And then perhaps there's somebody on the enemy side who is sympathetic and helps them. And then they escape. And then they're pursued again. It's very easy to imagine how the author teased out all the drama in this thriller. And, of course, the key here is that they have discovered a military secret. And this is an idea that I have used myself. There is Donald Sutherland in the movie of Eye of the Needle, discovering the secret of the deception plan for the D-Day invasion. Actually, I had not read The Riddle of the Sands when I wrote Eye of the Needle, but The Riddle of the Sands is a book so influential that you don't have to have read it to be influenced by it. It just kind of enters into the general culture. Now, there are several elements of The Riddle of the Sands which are archetypal in thrillers. First of all, the pretense of a factual basis. The Riddle of the Sands is subtitled A Record of Secret Service Recently Achieved, edited by Erskine Childers. And this pretense was superficially plausible because he had written a book about the Boer War, a book of military history. The book contains maps and charts. Now, we might wonder why he felt the need to pretend that this was a true story. And I'm reminded of Robinson Crusoe. The preface, Daniel Defoe's preface to Robinson Crusoe says, "The editor believes the thing to be a just history of fact. Neither is there any appearance of fiction in it," which was a lie, of course. It was almost entirely made up by Defoe. It was possibly loosely based on the experience of a castaway called Alexander Selkirk, but it certainly was a novel. And We may ask why Defoe felt so nervous about it that he had to pretend it wasn't a novel. And I think the answer in the case of Defoe is that in 1719, when Robinson Crusoe was published, there had not been very many novels in the history of the world.
To keep listening to this audiobook for free, click the link in the description. It will take you to a free Audible trial where you can listen to this and many other books for free for 30 days.